like the city, but I am tired of the same people, of the same things. I want to escape now to another place now, but with you, 'cause I don't want to be alone. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy.
Four French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The three wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
But before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy, you know, these are 5-ton machines, 1200 horsepower brake.
Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, you can look, and the drift is going off.
Gregory now, I love this. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening indeed. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to the very first broadcast of the UGX Clio Cup. We're here for round 3 of the championship from Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, and I am very, very excited to get this underway. This is literally my first commentary since being very, very ill, though, so I do apologise in advance if there are any pauses tonight or any shortness of breath from myself, but this is bound to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much to the guys for getting me involved in this championship. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the drivers have in store for us. This, of course, the third round of the championship. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be around for the first two, which started just at the tail end of 2023, and we have a very clear championship leader at the moment, which is this man. Laurens van Straaland has won both races so far this season. They've raced at Zandvoort and they've raced at Spa-Francorchamps, and now we find ourselves here at Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. We've just got lone qualifying going on at the moment. The drivers should have lap times coming through on the right hand side in not very long at all. It's been a while since I've seen a Renault Clio on my screen, I can tell you that much. I used to commentate on the Clio Cup Europe, which is the real World Series that takes place all over Europe, and it's been fantastic to see this car come to iRacing. It's been very, very entertaining, and a lot of people have really fallen in love with it. This is Lauren's teammate, Kian Vissers. Kian just making his way around turn 3 at the moment. We have a field of, I think, about 15 or 16 cars at present. Here is Bart Verkerk in the Bart B car, you could say. Very intriguing livery on car number 193. A big shout out as well to the championship sponsors, Elanas Advice and Media, and of course UGX as well, Ultimate Gaming Experience, for their sim racing hardware and their sim racing cockpits as such. You can see there Bart Verkerk using the middle of the road down towards turn 1. Leroy Bolkestein is definitely somebody to watch as well. He was fastest in practice just before we went live on air, and he's done a purple middle sector here. It does sound like he's backed off slightly around this part of the lap. And then again, these cars, they don't rev particularly high anyway. They do pop and bang quite a lot. They really are little fire breathers, these Clios. But down the start-finish straight goes Leroy, and Van Straaland as well has also put in a solid time and is just about a tenth of a second off of him at the moment. Now the format for tonight is just one race. They literally just do the single race. And Bolkestein is the man that is fastest at the moment. It's Jeroen Philipsen that is currently third. Fourth place is Eldin Zenderink at the moment. So it looks like a little team battle between the two teams at the top. There's the boss man himself, Guido Decker, car number 69 for UGX, with the brilliant UGX livery down the side. They've got awesome branding of UGX, actually. It's been really cool to get on board with it and jump on it and use the colour scheme as such for the overlay. Here's Ron Bosman, another one of the top dogs of the championship. He's got the Elanas Motorsport livery on the car. Gorgeous looking machine as well. It's a tricky little car to get right, is the Clio Cup, because of the fact that it's so pointy at the front end. You have to make sure, I should say, that the back end is along for the ride and ready to sort of take the reins of the handling, at least, of the machine. As you see here, though, Bosman just gliding it around the circuit. Makes it look quite effortless, to be honest with you. And that's the thing, it is one of those cars where you can make it look really effortless a lot of the time. Just going to reload the overlay for a second after just editing something. Leroy Bolkestein is currently on purple as he comes around the final corner. I'm not sure how many laps they actually get for these sessions, but it is a 10-minute session, which is nearly over already, and Bolkestein goes even quicker, a 2:01.459 for him, and that puts him fastest by 0.4 of a second over Van Straaland, so a great lap indeed by Leroy. He's currently second in the championship as well after a 4th place and a 2nd place. He's hoping to finally get that top spot and beat Van Strijland. Philipsen's 3rd, Zenderink 4th. Van der Ven, Michael van der Ven has gone 5th fastest. We've also got Marco van der Ven as well. You can see that the Elanas cars have all got the same design but different colours as the sort of highlights all over them. This is Marco van der Ven. No valid lap time from him currently in car 666. Finds himself currently in 14th position. Round turn 3. Difficult part of the track to get right. You can hear and feel the understeer. It's all about using all of the road in these Clios. Listen to how raspy the little machine is though. They are turbocharged as well, so you will hear the flutters and whistles of turbochargers and their wastegates. Stephen Westra saying we're here for Kian Vissers, the GOAT. Kian at the moment is currently not got a valid time on the board. Here he is. Currently showing 12th on my timing screen, but obviously not setting a lap time as of this moment in time. Doesn't sound like a full attack lap this actually. I think he's used all of his laps up. I think they only get 2 hot laps. We've got Stefan van der Velde who has not done 2 laps. Seems like all the top drivers in the top 4 have all backed off after 2. Oh dearie me. Stefan van der Velde overdoes it through the left-hander. The back end goes onto the grass. And that is unfortunately going to be an invalidation of his lap time. Martin Smit puts a lap in the board, or on the board I should say. He goes 9th fastest there. So he beats some of the drivers around him to at least get a bit of an advantage over them for the start of the race. But it's a half-hour race though. Like I say, it's a long time to be racing these cars. I think in the real world Clio Cup Europe they tend to do 20-25 minute races, so they have a lot of time to get it right. Kian Vissers has done a 2 minutes 5.018, and that is not fast enough to beat any of the drivers that have put a time in so far. I don't see him improving beyond that now based on the lap times that they've had. Now if this is an iRacing heat session or a heat racing session, then the qualifying session should tick over straight away once that clock hits 0, but I don't think it will be with just the one race on offer this evening. Is the Sharkmouth engulfed Harrow Gooden. He's a new addition for this evening, I've been told. In this very dinosaur themed car, you can see the little arms of the dinosaur where the door handles are. Thank you to those of you that have been watching so far. Hope you're enjoying having some coverage of this championship and hope the commentary isn't complete rubbish. Like I say, I've not been very well as of late, so I may have to take a little break here and there and stop talking for a moment, but this should be a very, very solid race. So qualifying is complete, and we're going to just get a few minutes of warm-up now while the drivers get used to the conditions and get back out there, but we'll have a look at the qualifying results, shall we? It's Leroy Bolkestein that goes fastest. Very well done to Leroy. He goes very much at the top by 0.4 of a second over championship leader Laurens van Strijland. Jeroen Philipsen is in 3rd position with Eldin Zenderink, car 21 for Cloud Racing. He's in 4th position. Then it's Michael van der Ven, or Michael van der Ven. He rounds out the top 5 ahead of the boss man, Guido Decker, who will start from 6th on the grid. Next up we have Harrow Gooden, who we were just looking at a moment ago, and Jermaine Van Horst alongside him on the 4th row. Then it's Martin Smit in 9th. Patrick van den Bos will line up in 10th and complete said top 10. Ron Bosman and Bart Verkerk will line up on the 6th row of the grid in 11th and 12th. Then we have Kian Vissers in 13th, and the last 2 drivers to line up on the grid will be Stefan van der Velde and Marco van der Ven in car 666. No lap times for those guys. Jerome says, let's go, first time P3. Absolutely. Mr. Philipsen lining up 3rd on the grid for today's race. But like I say, this is only a 5-minute warm-up session now, so the drivers just had a couple of laps to get themselves reacquainted with how the conditions are. We'll have a look and see. Yeah, it's 22 degrees on the track at the moment, so it's not hot at all. Still very much morning time here in Barcelona, or the virtual Barcelona anyway. Not quite sure that the barometric pressure is right for hectopascals. I don't think it's quite 30 million. These cars sounding wonderful, aren't they? Listen to that. Fantastic rasp and pop and bang of the Clio Cup. This is the Clio Cup R5 race car. I believe they may be going to a newer iteration of the car for 2024. We'll have to wait and see. It's been 3 seasons now that they've had the R5 model, and a very, very good car it has been indeed. And UGX Race Simulators themselves in the YouTube chat. Good to see you guys. Hope you're doing alright. Thank you very much indeed. It's good to be here. It's fantastic to see this lovely league. Very friendly league as well. They've all been very welcoming of me. It's great to get them all together on circuit and finally have them on my screen to broadcast as well. Here is Patrick van den Bos. Just making his way around turn 3 now. You can see in these cars you have to be so smooth. You use all of the road. That's the thing with underpowered cars, or lower powered cars anyway. You've got to use all the road and all the racing surface available to you. And Van den Bos just keeping it nice and smooth. Although he slows down here quite a bit for turn 5. Again, this is one of the corners you need to be careful of because the back end can very easily overtake the front through there. Especially if you're trying to be smooth on the brakes. That back end will just gradually make its way around and overtake the front of the car because that's where all the weight is in these Clios. That's where the engine is. I believe they're 1.6 litre turbocharged engines. They're about 200 horsepower. And the cars themselves barely weigh over a ton. And they go like stink. But one of the best things is that you can sort of lean on each other a little bit. Obviously, here on iRacing, we all know that contact has to be avoided as best it can, and sometimes there are cars that really don't lend themselves to contact at all. At the end of the day, online racing, you know, it's very sensitive to contact in the way that the cars behave, but cars like these and the TCR cars, iRacing have done a great job of making them as they are in the real world, where you can lean on each other. And trust me, there is a lot of leaning on each other that goes on in the real world of Clio Cup Europe. That is for sure. It's very much a contact sport, is Clio racing. It's very, very entertaining though. But we wait now for the warm-up session to end. Just 10 seconds left to go. And there's only a handful of cars, or 2 cars that we can see actually, sat in the pit lane as of this moment in time, and in just a second they will disappear from our screens. It will all go very quiet around the confines of Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, and just like that we're going to get ourselves ready for a race. So we're going to get ready for round 3 of the UGX Clio Cup. Let's have a look at the grid, shall we? It's a standing start, as should be in Clio racing. Leroy Bolkestein and Lawrence van Strijland on the front row then. Then it's Jeroen Philipsen and Eldin Zenderink on row 2. Mikael van der Ven lines up alongside the boss man Guido Decker on row 3. Then we have Harro Gooden and Jermaine Van Horst on row 4. Following them is Martin Smit and Patrick van den Bos. Next up is Ron Bosman in 11th place with Bart Verkerk in 12th. Then it's Kian Vissers, a lot of support for Kian in the chat. Stefan van der Velde is 14th with Marco van der Ven in car 666 at the back of the grid. So there's our beautiful grid. We just wait now for Bart Verkerk. You can see a number of the teams here very well represented. Lawrence van Strijland, Eldin Zenderink, and of course Kian Vissers' teammates. The timer will reset on the left when the lights go out. But round 3 of the UGX Clio Cup from Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is underway. Although it is for most of them, it's Mikael van der Ven that doesn't get going at all. One of his teammates has to avoid him. And Michael van der Ven is left standing on the grid. He does not move anywhere at all. The rest of the field manages to get through unscathed. Harrow Gooden moving around in the midfield there, but leading the way is still Leroy Bolkestein, car 14. Gooden looks down the inside. It's Guido Decker next to Zenderink as well. Decker's gone a little bit wide through there. Can Gooden get him back around the outside? He has done. He's made that the inside for turn 3, and it's a lovely, lovely start for the Dinosaur. Not that Harrow's that old, I don't know. But Gooden's made up 2 places off the start already. Bart Verkerk has made up 3. And look at this, Jermaine Van Horst down the inside of his teammate Guido Decker. He wants a piece of that, but no. He goes down the inside of Gooden, and there's a bit of contact between the two of them. Gooden's been shoved back a place or 2 now. Martin Smith goes back down the inside of him. Everyone keeps it tidy into turn 5. But look at this at the front then. Leroy Bolkestein has made a fantastic getaway. Opens up a tiny, tiny advantage over championship leader Laurens van Strijlen, but this is all going to be about looking after the tyres. It's a half-hour race here at Catalunya, and in front-wheel drive cars it's not easy to manage the tyre life around here. Stefan van der Velde didn't get a valid time in qualifying. He's going to want to move forward in these opening stages here. He's already gained 5 spots from where he started, actually. So he's had a a strong initial getaway. Look at that, trying later on the brakes there to look down the inside of Martin Smith. I've raced against Martin before, actually, and Bart Verkerk. There is absolutely nothing to be sniffed at when racing those guys. You need to have your wits about you. Great to see Ed May as well in the commentary box, or at least in the... I see, I'm so used to saying it, Ed. It's great to see Ed in the YouTube chat. Unfortunately, not in the commentary box with me for this one, but Ed and I will be back in just under a week's time for the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge, which gets back underway on Tuesday. At the end of lap 1, Jermaine Van Horst is all over the back of Eldin Zenderink. He is the best of the rest at the moment as the top 3 break away. Bolkestein, Van Strijlen and Philipsen making themselves scarce. Look at this though. Van Horst doesn't get a very good run at all, and Guido Decker wants a piece of this as well now. He's down the inside of number 21. This way, then that way, and Harrow Gooden says, "Oh, cheers, boys." Bit of opportunism there from the Dinosaur. Tries to spot a gap in the middle. We'll go onto the roof cam, and you can see there's just about a Clio-sized gap in the middle there, but he manages to find one on the right-hand side instead of going down the middle of these boys. Is he going to make it work down there? Harrow Gooden with a very, very tasty idea, but I don't think it quite works for him this time round. Guido Decker holds his ground in the number 69 UGX machine. Very close stuff from those boys, but great entertainment all the way. Stefan van der Velde is just on the back of this now, so he's got a front row seat to all these battles. And this could be really good for him because it's keeping the main pack together. As well, dearie me. Zenderink sends it in very hard, and his poor lap has gone from bad to worse. Eldin Zenderink just throwing the back end in a little bit too hard, and now he's got himself a slowdown penalty as well for his troubles. Slows down out of the way, lets everybody go through. That's a real shame. Michael van der Ven has been in the pit lane since his initial issue, and he's got going again. We need to go to the front though, because Leroy Bolkestein is under pressure from Laurens van Strijlen, or Laurent van Strijlen I should say. He's trying everything now to get past the wonderful little white, blue and red machine at the front of the field. He's got his teammate Jeroen Philipsen just trying to put a bit of pressure on as well from 3rd place. And down the start-finish straight they go. The slipstream in these Clios is actually massive as well. It's one of the key parts of racing these cars. Stefan Westra saying Eldin has a cone in his car. Very intriguing. The top 3, all with their UGX Clio Cup banners, having a great start. Jermaine Van Horst, 4 places gained for him at the moment. Started 8th on the grid, now up into 4th place. We've nearly done 5 minutes of this race already, which I cannot believe. It's gone very, very quick. Eldin Zenderink has gone into the pit lane. I'm not sure if he's going to have some form of repair done or something, but clearly the car not working as he wanted it to. Bart Verkerk in the Barbie car, side by side with Patrick van den Bos, who's all the way around the outside and way too far around the outside. Bit of a lock up into turn 4, and Patrick has unfortunately overdone it and gone into the gravel. That means that Martin Smit is now the next target for the very garish Barbie car of Bart Verkerk. Kian Vissers is next up behind him. Kian's made a little bit of progress forward, 3 places gained so far, but nothing to write home about yet. But he just needs to take his time, pick his opportunities when he can. We've got Marco van der Ven just behind him in the Elanas Motorsport car. And then behind that, Ron Bosman as well. One of the boss man overlooking proceedings at this moment in time. As the guys weave around in front of him, Van der Ven looking down the inside of Kian Vissers. As, oh dearie me, Ron's revs drop completely there into the hairpin. Very, very interesting indeed. Not sure if that was just a pure lock-up or what. But Kian Vissers now trying to get back at Marco van der Ven. Tries a cut back on the exit of the right-hander. Is he going to make it work there? I think he is. Don't forget, we're using the historic layout of this circuit, so we don't have that god-awful chicane at the end of the lap as, whoa, dearie me, Van der Ven comes back on like he has to at some point, and then Vissers runs wide. There's a bit of contact between the two. Oh, and Vissers is turned. Vissers is turned around and into the barriers. Well, it was going to happen one way or another. Vissers tried everything he could to try and get in front of Van der Ven, but it just didn't work for him. He shoveled him a little bit wide there, and then Van der Ven comes back on. Vissers just understeers into him. And then as Van der Ven, he's got full lock onto the right to try and save the car. Vissers hasn't left enough room on the exit there, unfortunately. And, well, when he has to come back on, Vissers' car was there. I think he's still trying to go, but no, I think that is all she wrote for Kian Vissers. He needs to accept defeat with what's left of that Clio. Look at that, the back end completely missing. We've got this brilliant battle going on though. Stefan van der Velde down the inside of all these guys. That's Van Horst and Gooden making contact on the outside, while Decker moves up into 4th place. White Van Gaming saying, now it's a Clio Cup race. Oh, why? There's always contact in Clio Cup racing. It's almost a given. But Stefan van der Velde is having a great race at the moment. 9 positions gained for the Dutchman. I say that like there's no other nationalities in the race. Kian Vissers is still trying to carry on. He's going to lose his place here to Michael van der Ven. Eldin Zenderink is still going as well, by the way. He got going once more after coming into the pits, but it's not gone well for the Elanas racing team so far. How long can Guido Decker stay ahead of Stefan van der Velde now? That's going to be the next question, because Stefan is on a mission at this moment in time. Look at that, he's running wider there just to take a late apex. Just to keep the speed up with a wider line, I guess. Quite a short upshift there by Guido. Bolkestein's done the fastest lap of the race. Leroy's 0.3 of a second ahead of Laurens van Strijland. And he is 0.8 ahead of your own Philipsen. But this little quartet, very feisty indeed. Back at the front though, actually, Van Strijland's had a fantastic first couple of corners, and he's really reeled in Bolkestein. Leroy's not got this his own way, and look at that, Laurens van Strijland goes from the outside of turn 3 to the inside of turn 4. Fantastic move. Bolkestein tries to give him all the room that he can there, side by side round turn 4. Bolkestein's going to have the inside line for the next corner. All this time his teammate's going to be watching. Oh, it's so close to contact time and time again, boys. But they're keeping it nice and tidy at the moment. This is great battling between the two of them. This is exactly what Clio racing is all about. Your own Philipsen just not quite able to stick right with them at this moment in time. But Van Strijland is all over the back of Bolkestein now. He's very, very close. Your own Philipsen, look at the distance. He's just got to watch from here. He's got to try and push like mad to get back with his teammate and help him out where he can. It's easier said than done at this moment in time. You can hear the brakes still squeaking even after just over 5 minutes of racing. Sorry, nearly 10 minutes of racing. I do apologise. As Van Strijland looks down the inside, tries to just unsettle Leroy through the right-hander. But the number 14 machine holding strong at the moment, using all of the curb through there, all the circuit. praying not to get a slowdown penalty. For those of you that don't know, if you go outside of track limits and gain too much of an advantage here on iRacing and it judges you to have done so, you will get what's known as a slowdown penalty. I think Jermaine Van Horst has had a problem somewhere at the end of the lap. Stefan van der Velde is also having his own little battle with Harro Gooden. Stefan on the left, Gooden on the right. Doesn't want to lose Guido. Oh no, Stefan! Stefan moves over to the left in the braking zone and squeezes him towards the edge of the circuit, and it was just never going to work for the 61 machine. He's got his teammate coming through as well. Let's have a look at that again. You can see, look, he's got at least a car's width to his left. He just keeps moving over and moving over and moving over, and there's not enough room there, unfortunately, Stefan. And Harro Gooden will feel very hard done by there. That is a massive shame. That's not how we want to see that get decided. Now we've got a fourth car in this train here, but I can tell you right now that it is Kian Visser's. It is not actually one of the drivers battling for the front. So the top three are still the lead trio. Or, well, it's more of a lead duo right now, with Jeroen Philipsen providing the warm-up act for everybody else in case they should move forward in the field. But Leroy's doing a great job right now of holding this lead. But there is the car behind. Van Stryland all over the back of us in his lovely black and yellow Clio. Leroy's doing everything right so far. He's withstanding this pressure greatly, especially knowing that the man behind him has won both races in the UGX Clio Cup so far this season. We still have 3 more rounds to come after this, and I look forward to each and every one of them. But Van Stryland just looks so comfortable sitting there, doesn't he? The remaining 3 rounds, by the way, are at the Red Bull Ring on the 24th of January. On the 7th of February, we go to Monza. And then on the 21st of February, we go to the Nürburgring for the Grand Prix circuit there, which will be fantastic fun. A great way to round out our season. But this battle for the lead is very, very hot. So is this one. Martin Smit and Jermaine Van Horst. Van Horst had a mistake on a previous lap and has dropped down a little bit. And now the two of them go head to head. Jermaine tries to commit to throwing the car at the apex just there, but doesn't work out for him. Smit holds his ground. Does so beautifully. Smit going a bit early on the brakes there just to hope that Van Horst overdoes it into turn 5. That's not quite the case. Gooden closing in on these guys as well. It'd be a shame for Harro Gooden not to get some good points out of this race, because he was having a really strong run for his first outing in the opening laps. Nearly at the halfway point of the race here on lap 7, with 16.25 minutes left to go on the clock. Hope you're all enjoying the show. Please don't forget to subscribe to Chaz Draycott Media. It would massively help me out as well. It's been a while since I've done a broadcast, actually. I think it was nearly the end of November, maybe sort of beginning of December, the last time I did a broadcast. But this is my bread and butter. My motorsport commentary is my main income, and I would appreciate it massively if you supported the channel. And of course, future streams and broadcasts as well, whether that be anything here on iRacing, but of course your very favourite UGX Clio Cup. It's been great fun already so far, and another example that you don't need a 60 car grid to have a good race and to have a decent community, because you've got all these drivers that were all in shot there, all flying down the start finish straight together. Everybody's got somebody to battle and race against, and it's great. And we've got a field of less than 20 cars, but that's all you need for a good race. Looks like Van Stryland is throwing everything he can at Bolkestein right now. He's doing anything in his power to just try and unsettle him. Look, you can see that the steering was pretty much perfectly straight as he went into the corner there, because the car is trying to rotate on the brakes. The back end is trying to step out and overtake the front end of the machine. They're not as straightforward to drive, these cars, as you'd expect. Great little race cars though, the Clio Cup R5s. And again, Van Strijlen just gets closer and closer. You can hear him feathering the throttle, keeping it nice and smooth around turn 9. Down the straight they go towards the hairpin. Who's going to go which way? Bolkestein, he's saying, look, I'm not going to defend. I'm not defending too hard here. And Van Strijlen goes for it. He actually puts his nose down the inside this time. A big crackle from the exhaust of Bolkestein's car. They remain side by side as they go up the hill. Bolkestein's going to have the inside line yet again here, though. Can Van Strijlen carry enough speed around the outside? I very much doubt it through there. No. Cuts across behind him, though. Moves along the back of the car to try and glance him and look back down the inside. This is great racing from our two championship protagonists so far. Van Strijlen comes here with 60 points. Leroy Bolkestein comes here with 46. So for the championship, really, Van Strijlen can happily sit behind him. He doesn't have to push and force the issue here, but if this happens race after race, then eventually Van Strijlen would lose the championship lead to Bolkestein, of course. It all adds up. But the two of them so close together. Last time doing 2 minute 2.3 and 2 minute 2.6 last time round, as Van Strijlen again finds himself down the inside. But that wider run from Bolkestein has just got that little bit more speed about it. A wider line just helping him out. Van der Velde, by the way, trying to get past Verkerk. He's gone around the outside, but he's gone too deep into turn 1. Still, Bolkestein holds on. This is great racing. Still 12 and 3/4 minutes left to go here. Not sure how my voice is going to survive. As clever stuff that by Van Strijlen. You can see, though, this is epic respect between the two, because there's so many moments here where Van Strijlen could just come off the brakes, or he could just turn in as if Bolkestein's not there and cause an issue, but he's just not. They're being really respectful with each other. This is proper top-notch racing, this is. Utmost respect from these two great gentlemen. Leroy Bolkestein with an I rating of 2,233 going into this. Laurens Van Strijlen with 3,753. It just goes to show that I rating is not everything. When it comes to league racing, you can come up against all sorts of drivers from many different backgrounds, many different leagues. This is Stefan van der Velde chasing down Bart Verkerk, who's trying to score a top 10 finish in the Barbie car. Arro Gooden has got past Martin Smit, by the way. He's now back up into 6th position, hoping to chase down Jermaine Van Horst, who is just 2.2 seconds clear in 5th. He remains inside the top 5. Jeroen Philipsen holds on to 3rd, and this man, Guido Decker, the boss man of UGX, is currently in 4th position. So he's got his teammate filling the final top 5 spot behind him. Here's Bart Verkerk and Stefan van der Velde again. Van der Velde is just trying to make up for the positions that he lost earlier on. He's in the slipstream now of Verkerk. Looks down the inside, slithers along the inside of the Barbie car, and gets it stopped beautifully. Nicely done that by Stefan van der Velde. Verkerk's going to try and come back at him, though. Looks back down the inside. There is a touch. There's a little bit of contact as they go around turn 3. Verkerk was well in his right to put his nose down the inside there, but I'm not sure if he ran wide into him. And look at this. Van der Velde not too pleased with this. You can see the body language of the car changing. Verkerk's got to cross him on the apex, though. That's where the problem arises. Oh, and Van der Velde gives him a big old rub on the exit of turn 4. Again shows his displeasure as Verkerk goes back down the inside. Goodness me. One way then the other with these pet. Van der Velde's going to be happy to have got away now and broken free slightly from Verkerk. He made that one a lot more difficult than he needed to. 10 minutes left to go in this race then. We're a lap 10 here at Catalunya. So we should get about a 15 lap race here in the Spanish sunshine, although I say sunshine, it's only 22 degrees air temperature at the moment. The track temp's gone up by just 1 degree to 23 degrees. I hope you're all enjoying the show still and enjoying watching this race, and those of you that watch this back, the drivers that watch it back afterwards, I hope you enjoy the show as well. It's amazing how quickly 20 minutes can go when you're having fun, actually. It really has disappeared, those 20 minutes. But down the start-finish straight then, towards turn 1 they go. Is it going to be enough for Bolkestein to hold on right to the end? Look, again, he's not fazed by the fact that Van Struylen puts the car down the inside. He just uses the speed. He's cut back across to the inside a lot more than he has done in previous laps, though. And Van Struylen again has his nose down the inside. This is great pressure from Van Struylen. He's actually managed to get through this time down the inside. Just as we go on board, he's got his nose in front now as they go into turn 5. Hard onto the brakes. Bolkestein's still there. But he has a slower exit because of that tighter line. Is Van Struylen going to go for his 3rd race victory? Well, you'd be silly to bet against him. This is great stuff from these two at the front. Bolkestein really respectful. He's on the inside line, but he cannot hold on to the speed on the exit of the corner. And it's Laurens Van Struylen that has taken the lead yet again from Leroy Bolkestein. Leroy is now going to be the one in the slipstream, and Van Struylen knows that as well. He knows that he needs to break that toe. Needs to stop punching a big hole in the air for Bolkestein. Now this will be interesting for us to see, because it's the first time that Bolkestein's going to be the chaser in this little battle. And it's the first time that Van Struylen's going to be the lead car here, because he's had a reference point. He's had Bolkestein in front of him the whole time. And let's not forget that Bolkestein, in terms of 1 lap pace, was faster in practice, was faster in qualifying. But is he going to be slightly nervous now about trying to get the race lead? Into the massive slipstream that these Clios punch in the air. Look at the speed going up and up and up. 200 kilometres an hour now down towards turn 1. Rattling the curb like mad. Hard onto the brakes, and I think Bolkestein's overdone it slightly there. He's forced to make a bit of a recovery into turn 2, and unfortunately I think that is the damage done there. There's your own Philipsen still holding on to 3rd. Guido Decker is in 4th place, 2 seconds ahead of his teammate Jermaine Van Horst. And we've got Harro Gooden, who's only just about 2nd ahead of Martin Smith at this moment in time. Martin trying to recuperate, catch back up with the dinosaur. Bart Verkerk has unfortunately had a big drama here. He's going down the start finish straight. Oh, nearly contact. He's moved. Oh, he's moved slightly to the right. Oh, goodness me. Good lord, that is a colossal accident for Bart Verkerk. He hits that tyre barrier that was sticking out at the end of the wall. The two of them were moving around on the straight. You really don't need to do it. And to be honest, I think it's more on the number 4 moving around a lot more, Patrick van den Bos. That was a massive shunt for Bart Verkerk. Well, luckily, this is just the sim, and he will be okay, but that is not what you like to see, especially when driving in a straight line. Well, it's Laurens Van Struylen that is currently leading this race now. He's got about 7.5 tenths of a second over Bolkestein. He's going to start to stretch his legs here and try and just get an easy, comfortable gap over Leroy. Do what he can do about a hat-trick of race wins. His 3rd win on the bounce this would be. Can Bolkestein put him under enough pressure to get that win? Your own Philipsen looks pretty comfortable in 3rd place as well. He's on for some good championship points if the race finishes this way. Jeroen Philipsen didn't score any points in round 1, but then got 14 points in round 2. And based on the previous maths, this should give him a score of 23 points for this race. So he'll be over the moon with that, will Jeroen? That'll certainly help his championship chances. You've got to be in it to win it in a championship like this. You never know when one of the drivers right at the sharp end could just make a mistake in one race and just drop off slightly. Or even when, with the world of sim racing, of course, coming second to real life, you never know when a driver might not be able to make a round of the standings, or make a round of the series, I should say. Martin Smith here just trying to get back with Harrow Gooden, who is, to be fair, having a good one. Considering that he had the earlier incident, he's recovered very well up into 6th place in his first appearance of the championship. Now towards the hairpin we go, onto the brakes with Martin Smith. Nice and smooth. Little short shift there to save the wheel spin going up the hill. Again, look how smooth they're being around here. Keeping the car in check, keeping it doing exactly what they want it to. No fastest laps coming through from anybody at this moment in time. Oh, dearie me, Martin's gone way deep into the final corner there. Whoa, hello Martin. Just pushing that little bit too hard, got into a rhythm, and then just overstepped the mark slightly. Gets back on with the job at hand. Stefan van der Velde. He's not too close. He's about 1.8 seconds off the back of him now. Closest battle is still actually our lead pairing at the moment. There's going to be one more lap after this one for Laurens van Strijland. He's got about 3/4 of a second over Bolkestein, who has found a sort of second wind actually in this late stage of the race. Although that's too much of a second wind, unfortunately, Leroy. Pushing a little bit too hard into turn 5, goes straight on slightly. Bart Verkerk, I'm glad to say, has got in the spare car. This is the Ken car, not the Barbie car. He jumps into the spare and carries on. So at least if he finishes the race, I believe he'll still get points. Same goes for Kian Vissers. We have Marco van der Ven is actually out of the race. Marco van der Ven no longer competing in this event, unfortunately. Says that he did about 3/4 of a lap as well after lap 9, so clearly an issue somewhere on the lap for Van der Ven. Actually, sorry, he came into the pit lane, and after that, that was it. But Laurens van Strijland has been very impressive here. I have to say, though, Leroy Bolkestein, I thought Leroy had it in the bag. He was defending so well. Then that one opportunity for Laurens van Strijland came about, and Lauren was able to get by. And he's now going to start the final lap of the race here in the UGX Clio Cup at Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. This is round 3 of Season 1, the inaugural championship running. And Laurens has done everything right up to this point. He put great pressure on Bolkestein from the very start of the race. He managed to get the move done, and from then on he has not looked back. He's just had a couple of laps to open up his advantage slightly and continue to move forward. It's been a great run. I mean, to be fair, Leroy and his teammate Jeroen both done great jobs as well to hold on to their podium positions. Guido Decker is then 12 seconds off these guys, but the UGX cars both in 4th and 5th places, so big points for them in their respective championship runs. I know that Jermaine Van Horst was definitely one of the early front runners that we were keeping our eye on. Same with Stefan van der Velde. 6 places gained still for him, actually, even after his earlier incident. He still gained a bunch of places from his initial grid position. but into the hairpin with just a couple more corners left to go. Laurens van Straaland and Leroy Bolkestein still close together. There's about a second between the two of them now. Leroy's just lost a little bit more time in this final lap, as I think Laurent has just done everything he needed to do to maintain that gap. He's not pushed too hard, but it's been an awesome run, and after taking a win in the first round of the championship, he took a win in the second round, and after doing that, he's come here to Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, and Laurens van Straaland takes 3 out of 3 here in Barcelona. That's his third win on the bounce. It's a hat-trick hero for Van Straaland. Leroy Bolkestein, great second place, and Jeroen Philipsen finishes in third place with his teammate just ahead of him. Guido Dekker is going to be next up. He's going to finish in fourth position for the UGX squad with Jermaine Van Horst behind him. Very well done to those guys, and a great debut by Harro Gooden. He moves up into sixth place by the end of the race, with Martin Smit crossing the line in seventh. Stefan van der Velde is eighth. He'll be annoyed at himself for the earlier incident. Patrick van den Bos is ninth, and Ron Bosman is going to round out the top 10. You could just see a moment ago as well Bart Verkerk crossing the line to complete the race. I can't believe how fast half an hour flew by, can you? It was ridiculously quick. Bosman crosses the line, then completes the race. Mikel van der Ven is next up behind him, his teammate, and then Eldin Zenderink. Well, let's not forget, Eldin started right up there near the front of the grid for cloud racing, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him. He got a slowdown penalty. He had a cone under the car as well in the early stages. And for the man that, well, to be fair, came here with only 10 points, he's going to go away from this one and hope for more next time round. But there is your race leader, Laurens van Straaland. Very, very well done indeed to Lauren. Leroy Bolkestein in second place, Jeroen Philipsen finishing in third. Let's have a look at the race results then, shall we? And see what that all meant for the drivers. So Laurens van Straaland takes the win, 1.157 seconds ahead of Leroy Bolkestein in the end, with Jeroen Philipsen in third position. Guido Dekker finished in fourth place, with Jermaine Van Horst completing the top 5, and then it was Harro Gooden in sixth place. Martin Smit was seventh in car 33 ahead of Stefan van der Velde, with Patrick van den Bos in ninth place and Ron Bosman completing the top 10. Next up was Mikel van der Ven in 11th, with Eldin Zenderink in 12th, and then the cars that were a lap down or more were Bart Verkerk and Kian Vissers, with Marco van der Ven unfortunately not finishing the race. Okay, I'm just going to try and see whether we can potentially get a driver or two in for an interview, but not quite sure they've been briefed with the idea of the interviews as of yet. So I may have to see, because it also seems like the permissions in the Discord are not allowing me to speak either. So we may have to revisit that and do some interviews next time. But we do have, of course, upcoming rounds of the championship in 2 weeks' time from today. We'll be at round 4 of the championship at the Red Bull Ring, which will be a great race. I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. We also then go to Monza as well, which will be brilliant for the slipstreaming on the 7th of February. And then we go to the Nürburgring on the 21st of February to complete the season. But that was a really entertaining race though, wasn't it? As you see here, that initial start by Laurens van Straaland was not enough to take the lead, but it was all the battling that was going on behind as well that was really feisty. Guido just ran a little bit wide there into Harro Gooden, and Harro had to continue working forwards from there. Always love looking back at these starts though, just to see what was what. Here's Eldin Zenderink. And there's no cone under the car or anything at this point. He was still happily running along in fourth place here, I think. I'm not sure he got a slowdown penalty or anything for that. But still, it was a real shame that he lost all those places in the end. But your eventual race winner was Lauren van Strijland, and what a fantastic job he did indeed. What I'm going to do though, everybody, is call it there for this first broadcast of the UGX Clio Cup for round 3 of the championship. We will work on getting some of the drivers in for interviews for the following rounds, which will of course be coming in the next 2 weeks. But as for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Really hope you enjoyed the show. And thanks again to the guys at UGX and, of course, at Elanas for getting me on as well. It's been great fun to do this first broadcast. And we will, of course, like I say, work to make it even better next time. That's all from me here on Chaz Draycott Media tonight, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Have a good one.
Four French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The 3 wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
But before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy. You know, these are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower brake. Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been loved and a drift to show off. I love this. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.